Ever since I was little, I've lived on a farm, and I've never really got into what my parents do as farmers. But over the past few years, I've gotten interested in what they actually do. And also, this class has pushed me to understand more about their job. One of the things my parents do as farmers is crop rotation. Crop rotation is planting a new crop in a field that's from a different family, as stated by my farm education, like changing from bean to corn. This is very important because it helps keep the soil sustainable for future generations. My parents have been farming my whole life and talk about this topic quite often. Crop rotation is very important because it helps control pests and diseases. It also helps reduce weed growth and all maintains soil fertility as stated by OISAT. Crop rotation, first of all, helps control pests and diseases, as stated by David Laferney. Pests are known to lay their eggs in the soil during the season or at the end of harvest season. They are expecting the same crop to be planted the next year. This is not the case in crop rotation, though. When you plant a crop from a different family, the crop isn't the right crop for the pest that is in the soil. The same also goes for diseases. Certain diseases only bother certain families of crops. So by switching the crops every so often, your plant won't be harmed as much. Not only does crop rotation help with pest and disease control, but as stated by Agricultural and Agri-Food in Canada, it also helps reduce the growth of weeds. By changing the crops every year or even every other year, you change the nutrients in the soil. You ask, why does that matter for weeds? Well, if nutrients isn't stable, then weeds have a harder time growing. So, in return, you get less of them. Also, crop rotation changes the structure of the soil. Soil structure is just how the soil is put together, like if it's super fine or if it's like big solid chunks of dirt. This really has an effect on how well plants and weeds grow. Another major benefit of crop rotation is that it helps maintain soil fertility. Not all crops are the same. If they were, the soil would have been shot a long time ago. But by using crop rotation, you don't overuse the nutrients in the ground. Switching between crop families like corn and beans helps use different nutrients. This is so important so the nutrients aren't overused. If farmers just kept planting the same crop every single year, not only would it have pests and diseases destroying it, but also it wouldn't be as good as a crop because the nutrients in the ground are not sufficient enough to produce it. Also, so as stated by Jim Botter, crop rotation has shown an increase of yields. You ask, what are yields? A crop yield is an amount of crop that is harvested per amount of area. Fertile soil is a huge factor in this. As you can see, crop rotation is crucial in sustaining the soil for later years. By using crop rotation as a method of planting for farmers, it lowers the chances of getting pests and diseases, maintains weed growth, and it also helps keep the soil fertile so you can use less chemicals on the fields. One key idea to remember from this speech is that crop rotation lowers the amount of chemicals being used on the fields. So, in return, it lowers the amount of air pollution caused by farmers. And it still keeps the soil sustainable. Instead of sitting back and not worrying about what your parents do for a living, try to get involved in their jobs. See if they're making the earth a better place or if there's something you can suggest to them that will help them better the earth. Thanks to this class, I have opened my mind to see what my parents do as farmers.